In this lesson, we're going to talk about groups. Groups are really fundamental to user management because the user has to belong to a group, and that group has a set of permissions that are associated with it that then cascade down to the user. So I add my users to groups, and I do that using this group file. So let me just edit this group file here. Now you can see my user has been added to a number of groups here. That means all of these groups, the rights and permissions that these groups have, my user also has. Now I could add myself to another group here, and that's all I need to do to give myself permissions to that group. I can also add groups. I can add this group here, and if I were to take a look at the group file, you would notice that the group that I just added gets added to the bottom here. I can also change groups, much like I could with a user. I could do group mod, and you could see I change the group ID to a group ID that I wanted to. So let's do this, for example. So group mod, and I want to say G of, let's say 5,000. And then I'm going to say the group is that one. So now if I take a look at Etsy group, I've actually got the group ID of 5,000. Doesn't really mean much other than that's a numeric identifier that the system actually knows the group as, and we use the name so that we can make it easier to understand. But the system really uses the group ID, so it uses the numeric value, and it sets permissions with that numeric value. When it comes time to doing things like displaying permissions in a directory, it's going to go look up the numeric value that corresponds to this right here and give the name when it does these printouts. What's actually stored in the file system is the group ID and the user ID. The system does a reverse lookup of those IDs and gives the printable name that's going to make more sense to us. For our convenience, it's not actually stored that way. So groups have some power in terms of granting users additional rights beyond those that are granted specifically to the user. You add the user to a number of groups, and then all of the rights and permissions that that group has, the user gets along with the group.